One of the open world activities both Naue and Yasuke can do in Assassin's Creed Shadows is approach wild animals in Japan and then paint them, which will unlock paintings as a wall decoration for your settlement. We got way more new gameplay and a ton of new details to go over. Overall, Ubisoft wants to do less hand-holding in Assassin's Creed Shadows. As you might know, viewpoints function a bit different this time around. So while we still have the iconic drone camera, and yes, it looks really good, this new gameplay, unlocking a viewpoint this time does not instantly reveal all the icons on the map. Now instead, you have to use this high point and then do the observe mechanic with L1 or the left trigger and can then turn 360 degrees to spot question mark icons for points of interest. But you will actually see what the icon is by getting close to it, and moving around is also the main way to actually uncover more of the map. So at the start of the game there will be these drawings and hints at certain key locations, similar to what we most recently saw in Mirage. So you can be like, oh, this looks cool, let's check it out. But you cannot just focus on the viewpoints anymore and then have the full map without actually going to these locations yourself. Now viewpoints are luckily still fast travel spots, but some of these viewpoints will be located in the heart of enemy controlled territories, like on the top of a tenshu. And maybe you remember the green dome sync point in the middle of Baghdad in Mirage that you could fast travel to, but then not fast travel out of because you would be in a restricted area, so you had to physically get out of that location first. I thought that was quite annoying, and well, Shadows will have more of that. This is also very interesting. Most, but not all of the viewpoints are accessible with both characters, so likely some of them cannot be reached with Yasuke. They also note that in some instances, Naue can easily climb outside of the structure using her grapple hook, whereas Yasuke will likely need to take the stairs and go through the guards to reach the top. So another L for Yasuke, although I do think he will win in the looks department. We got new gameplay of him rocking a cool straw hat and a one-shoulder cape that moves very realistically in the wind. I love this look, and the horse armor deserves a shout out as well. Again, the saddles and horses are different this time, so instead of having the pre-made mounts that we had in the previous games, we should now be able to mix and match, which can impact the stats of the horse as well. But the focus of this new horseback gameplay is actually the Pathfinder feature, which is quite similar to the follow road option from the previous games, where the game would simply go to a nearby road and then follow that. If you had a quest objective or put a marker down, you could tell the game to go to that, but it would still stick to the roads only, so you had to manually go make the final steps. In Shadows, when you select the Pathfinder option, it really seems to take you to your marker or objective, and this should in particular be nice because of the amount of mountains that the game will have. Another familiar feature that has seen an upgrade is the objectives board, because now instead of only showing the targets we have to take out, it's your complete quest log. Yes, lots to go over, and real quick, I'm doing a giveaway for 3 copies of Assassin's Creed Shadows. Simply like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then follow the link in the pinned comment if you want to participate. Yes, maybe you saw it already, but seems like we have 12 really cool looking potential Templar targets that we have to take out, that are all hiding behind some really cool masks or headgear that we can hopefully get ourselves as well. Like, this is way cooler than the Order of the Ancients we saw before that were all using the same mask. But again, there's way more. This leak section is for people we can likely recruit and then bring to our settlement, as we're now looking for a blacksmith. If we zoom out here, we actually see a specific icon for Naue, and this is likely where we find her specific quest that you can only do with her and reveal more about her family and background. We see the hideout section with specific things like the stable, I think this decorations, this might be like combat or training, the blacksmith and your scouts. And next to the potential main targets, there are also the Kabukimono Ronins, so samurai that lost their master that will likely pose a challenge. And if we take them all out, we seemingly get 5000 XP and also 2 new abilities. One seems like a speed boost or something, and the other one we know because just like in Valhalla and also in Mirage, this is the icon for the chain assassination. So it seems like by taking out all these targets, we get this ability for Naue and can then likely throw the kunai to the second target to also take it out. But overall, really cool that we can now also earn skills by going after these targets. And each individual opponent also gives rewards like 2 mastery points to unlock new skills, coins, and an actual new weapon that has a level next to it. Maybe this scales to your current level, so if you reach level 12, the weapon goes to 12 as well. Like, I can speculate, but the fact is that we just don't know a lot about loot and gear progression yet, so we'll of course keep you up to date here. And then if you want to go after the target, you can just track the mission and then you will see the quest steps appear, which are hints pointing you in the right direction, similar to the exploration mode from the previous games. Now, different is of course the fact that there's no bird this time, so one way to find the target is by finding a high point yourself and then using that observe mode again to scan the environment, something you can also do with Yasuke, and then bam, you find your target. But this is also where the before mentioned scouts come in. You can deploy them from your map and you can actually choose to dispatch 1, 2 or 3 as noted with the dots. And the more you deploy, the bigger the radius actually is. And then in that circle, all your quest markers will appear, so you don't have to look around yourself anymore. Now, luckily, the game still has a guided mode if you prefer to just get a marker all the time. So I'm kind of curious if that negates the use of the scouts, if you can just see the target instantly. But we will have to wait and see. But we now also learned that your scouts can be used to remove your wanted status. After you get alerted in a camp, the enemies in the region will namely be way more aggressive towards you, so that will make the game overall harder. This will reset at the end of a season, but if you don't want to wait, you can use your scouts to remove that wanted status. We now also learned about smuggling. So wealthy clans in the region have special rooms in their heavily guarded bases that you can infiltrate. And inside these rooms you find stockpiles that you can flag for a scout, and then they will smuggle it. You will lose the scout though for the time being, but at the end of the season they will return with the resources and you can then use these resources to upgrade your hideout. So instead of raiding churches in Valhalla and then looting the chest with the help of your crew, in Shadows we have to infiltrate these clan bases to get the settlement materials with the help of our scouts. Now, if you don't like the fact that your scout is gone for a while, you can also pay in-game money at the Kakurega to speed up their return, so they can use the scout again for something else. And we don't have footage of this Kakurega yet, but it's basically a safe house we can also find and unlock in the world that becomes a fast travel point too. It really reminds me of the buildings we could unlock in Rise of the Ronin that we could fast travel to, and while inside we could use different features. In Shadows we can use it to refill our rations, tools, ammunition, access our gear stash, manage and accept contracts, replenish scouts, as well as manage which allies can be summoned for help. Okay, what type of contracts? We of course know the allies will play a big role helping us out in combat. There's a lot we still don't know about this game or have not seen in action. And maybe you spotted the change season prompt on the map here as well. Like they said that we cannot manually change the seasons in the game, but that will automatically happen when you play. So what is this button for? Your take's more than welcome, and maybe you can trigger it yourself before the game automatically switches. I will try and figure it out of course and bring you all that info and way more gameplay. And yes, I can confirm now that I'm at Ubisoft Quebec playing the game as we speak. This video was of course pre-recorded while I was still at home. But yeah, expect a ton of new gameplay, my impressions after playing, exclusive info from interviews, and way more, all starting on January 23rd. And there's also a really cool surprise. So subscribe to not miss anything, a like would be awesome, and check out my most recent Shadows video with a ton of other info that you might not know about by clicking on the screen. I will speak to you very soon. Goodbye, exciting times.